A male firefly crosses a dark meadow, broadcasting a precise pattern of light. Somewhere below, an answer flashes back. Its timing looks right, so he turns, descends, and follows it. But the signal is not leading him to a mate. Something larger is waiting in the grass. This is our first glimpse of an insect siren, not an animal from Greek myth, and not an animal plotting murder, but a signal that changes another animal's behavior. We will return to that flash. First, we need to rewind to where an Odyssean journey actually begins. In Homer's Odyssey, the wooden horse appears in a song about the fall of Troy before the long voyage home. It is not one of the monsters Odysseus meets at sea. It is the trick that gets through a guarded boundary. In a meadow, a caterpillar performs a passage with a similar function. Young Phengaris butterflies begin life feeding on particular plants, but in their final caterpillar stage, they drop to the ground and wait. Their survival now depends on meeting a worker from the ant genus Myrmica. Ant colonies defend their entrances and attack outsiders, yet a worker that finds the caterpillar may inspect it, lift it, and carry it into the nest, where it may be placed among the brood. The key is written across the caterpillar's surface. Ants recognize nestmates and brood partly through chemical profiles. In well-studied Phengaris systems, caterpillar surface hydrocarbons resemble components of the local Myrmica brood profile closely enough to help trigger retrieval. The precise blend varies among species and populations. Natural selection favored caterpillars whose chemistry elicited retrieval from suitable local hosts. Crossing the gate is only the first step. Inside the nest, some caterpillars acquire or produce a closer chemical match to the colony around them. Then the paths split. Some species then become predators. Phengaris arion, for example, consumes ant brood. The Phengaris alcon group mainly follows another route. Workers feed the caterpillar by regurgitating food, much as they feed their own young. Other species vary, so this predatory versus cuckoo division is a guide, not a rule without exceptions. In one well-studied member of the alcon complex, historically called Maculina rebelli, the deception continues in sound. Inside colonies of Myrmica shank, caterpillars and pupae produce vibrations resembling ant signals, including queen-like acoustics that can influence their social treatment. Here, surface chemistry helps with entry. Acoustic mimicry can help shape what happens after adoption. The Trojan horse comparison ends at function. Ant defenses select for parasites whose sensory cues can pass the colony's recognition test. No understanding of fortifications is required. Now the voyage reaches Circe, the goddess who uses a potion and a wand to transform Odysseus's crew. In the insect world, the emerald jewel wasp, Ampulex compressa, causes a narrower physiological change in behavior. Its target is the American cockroach. The attack begins with a sting into the first thoracic or prothoracic ganglion. Venom briefly paralyzes the front legs, usually for only a few minutes. This does not create the long-lasting condition. It gives the wasp time to deliver a second, more targeted sting through the neck, depositing venom in two head ganglia, the brain and the subesophageal ganglion. Afterward, the cockroach may groom intensely. Then it enters hypokinesia, a state in which spontaneous walking and escape behavior are strongly reduced. The wasp can lead it by an antenna into a burrow, where the cockroach becomes living food for a future larva. It is tempting to call this total mind control. That description is dramatic, but it erases the most interesting part. The cockroach is not completely paralyzed. Its drive to begin spontaneous walking has fallen, and its threshold for initiating escape has risen, while much of the machinery required to move still works. When sufficiently triggered, it can produce coordinated movement. Behaviors including righting itself, flying, and swimming can remain available, even while ordinary walking and escape running are severely suppressed. Experiments point to reduced activity in neural systems involved in initiating locomotion, including the brain's central complex and descending pathways that influence motor output. By lowering activity in circuits that help initiate locomotion, the venom changes which actions are likely to begin. Circe's magic transforms bodies because the poem says it does. Amplux's venom changes neural activity because molecules interact with a nervous system. The resemblance is functional, not literal. Now we can return to the unanswered light in the meadow. In the flashing firefly species relevant here, courtship depends on patterned light. A flying male produces a species-characteristic flash pattern. A receptive female answers after a characteristic delay, giving the male information about where to approach. Some predatory female fireflies in the genus Photuris exploit this exchange. Instead of sending only their own courtship response, they can produce female-like replies to males of other firefly species. The male follows the familiar timing towards what appears to be a possible mate. At close range, the Photuris female can seize and eat him. This is aggressive mimicry. A predator's signal resembles something beneficial to the receiver and draws the receiver closer. It is not a talent shared by every firefly, or even used equally across all Photuris. The best-known experiments involved female Photuris versicolor. In one study, they adjusted their responses to attract males from 4 species with distinct flash patterns. The meal can provide more than calories. By eating certain Photinus fireflies, female Photuris can acquire defensive chemicals called lucibuphagins, which help them protect them from predators. The mechanism needs no human motive. Selection favors signals that successfully exploit the prey's response. The opening flash worked because males evolved to approach replies with recognizable timing. That useful response rule also creates a route by which a predator can find them. After a guarded colony, a nervous system, and a deceptive signal, the final opponent is distance and the changing season. Every autumn, a long-lived generation of eastern North American monarch butterflies leaves the United States and Canada and flies south. Individuals can travel thousands of kilometers. Tags attached far to the north have later been recovered among overwintering forests in central Mexico. One fall generation makes the entire southbound passage. Along the way, monarchs orient using mechanisms that include a time-compensated sun compass. Reaching Mexico is remarkable, but a compass is not GPS. Displacement experiments suggest that monarchs do not consistently compensate for being moved far from their normal path. When spring comes, many of the overwintering butterflies begin moving north. They reproduce and die. Their descendants carry the route north again. No single monarch completes the whole continental cycle. So the homecoming is both individual and collective. One generation crosses south, while several generations carry the route north again. Across this insect odyssey, each echo rests on a different mechanism. Recognition cues admit a caterpillar to a defended nest. Neural modulation suppresses escape. Receiver rules let a false flash redirect courtship. And migration orientation guides a generation across a continent. None requires foresight or knowledge of myth. Natural selection preserves variations that work in a particular environment, turning chemistry, venom, light, and inherited orientation into routes through danger. The myths give us a map of astonishment. Evolution supplies the mechanisms.